Hey, what's happening, Spider friends? Welcome back to Marvel's Spider-Man and another suit, showcase, and spider lore. Make sure you guys smash that like button and tell me what suit you would like to see next. And of course, it's just me. So the suit we're looking at is from Amazing Spider-Man 682 by Dan Slott. So May of 2012. And think of this as like the Sinister Six takedown suit, because that's what it was designed for at Horizon Labs after Spidey lost his spider sense after the death of course, J. Jonah Jameson's wife, which wasn't Spider-Man's fault, it was actually JJ himself. So, this suit in the game, it has a titanium alloy plate, which basically makes it bullet and missile-proof for about 60 seconds, which is kind of the opposite of what this suit did. Yes, it was a spider armor, and it was a pretty awesome suit that was eventually destroyed, but Peter later fixed it up after he became head of Parker Industries or whatever, and kept it kind of like an additional suit like Iron Man, but you would hardly ever use it because this is literally a takedown suit. Think of this like the ultimate bat armor to use against the Sinister Six. And yes, the character kind of looks like Red Hood a little bit, but we'll forgive the suit because it's one of my favorites. It also is up there in my top 10 Spidey suits of all time. It's really fun. This thing has countermeasures up the wazoo, and you would not believe it. So the reason why Spidey again has to create this suit is he lost his spider sense during a massive showdown with an overpowered Scorpion, and as I mentioned, it did lead to JJ's wife being killed during the battle. So a de-spider-sensed Spidey had to find new ways of surviving the tough concrete jungle, and of course, dealing with all of the escaped Sinister Six members, led by Dr. Octopus in the issue of 682. So this suit, which a lot of people refer to as the Ends of the Earth suit, well, at least the Spider-Man Unlimited game calls it that, because literally it appeared like, you know, Spider-Man was not going to survive this massive battle with the Sinister Six. Oh, come on! Really, buddy? I'm trying to drop some spider lore here and you're shooting me. Alright? Trying to make this thing pretty easy for folks to understand, but whatever. Let's talk about some of the cool features that the suit has. Of course, it's got a hearing ability, like, built into the helmet, as well as a comms thing. What's really interesting about, like, how in tune this suit is to listening to things, it can actually find the Chameleon, who is another Spidey villain who likes to, you know, disappear and stuff like that, by tracking the villain's heartbeat. Talk about freaky, right? I mean, this suit can do everything. It also has some stuff that can help bypass Dr. Octopus's technology and mess with his arms, as well as a holographic visor, which allows him to see through Mysterio's visions, and he can literally go right after Mysterio without any problems. So like I said, this is the ultimate countermeasure suit that Spidey only used in like some really tense situations in the 616 universe, and the reason why he needed it is because he kind of lost one of his major powers. And it's not that Spider-Man is a weak character without his spider sense, it's just what makes the character so unique. Because there's lots of superheroes that have super strength and super speed and super agility and stuff like that, but his spider sense is kind of like seeing into the future and predicting what his enemies are going to do and keeping this, you know, kind of lanky guy out of trouble. And without it, I mean, Spidey took some serious lickings. You know what I mean? So, yeah. He also has built-in Electro stuff, which is capable of repelling Electro's, of course, electricity attacks, so it kind of protects him against that. It's insulated and breathes like Egyptian cotton. No, it really doesn't. He's got built-in web shooters, so you don't have to worry about all that, you know, other stuff. The suit also has limited flight, which he kind of wanted to do based on the whole Iron Man stuff, and it makes sense.
Gentlemen, that is not how an ATM
No, that is not how it is supposed to work. Not ATMs, anyway. Nasty demons. I swear, these guys are all over the game. Like, at least the first two arcs, they are everywhere. I'm trying to limit spoilers, so I'm not showing the other enemy type that you see around this time of the game. I'm doing my best to behave because, you know, within about an hour or two is where you really see these enemy types, like the Martin Lee gang or Mr. Negative gang, whatever. But another fun thing that Spidey has in his suit is he has the ability to fight the Sandman. He's got increased titanium alloy to help with bullets and rockets and other blunt damage. And for whatever else he doesn't have, like, on the suit itself, he also wears a utility belt. Which I don't know if you can... Yeah, you can kind of see it a little bit there. And he has all kinds of little spider gadgets in there to deal with the Sinister Six when he fought them in Dan Slott's book. One of the really cool things about the different things inside his utility belt, he has, like, ice spiders, which is basically, think of it like countermeasures that not Mr. Batman, that Batman would use against Mr. Freeze, like the cryo weapons. Yeah, that's where I'm going with that. As well as spider tracers, more web cartridges, and like all kinds of fun stuff. So it's a cool suit. I don't believe this suit is actually like fireproof. It's kind of hard to think when Spidey is quipping and the cats are meowing, so... Guys, I'm trying to do spider lore, just as bad as Amber, my gosh. Ugh. Everything's gonna be fine, I just need a few minutes to gather my thoughts, and then whatever you need, I will give it to you. Food, cuddles, doesn't matter. Alright, so let's web up these guys against the wall so we can get that achievement as best as possible. Some impact webbing ought to do nicely. You go there, and you go up against that van. That counts as a wall. And where's another pesky dude? Alright, you're gonna go up against this wall. Blast. Kind of botch that. Nope, I'm out of impact webs. Great, fantastic. Well, I might be able to use... Could try to just stick him up against the wall with normal webbing. No, that doesn't... No, that's not what I wanted to do. Stand up so I can get you against that wall there, buddy. There we go. Alright, achievement completed.
Demons were gonna overwhelm those Sable agents.
Oh my goodness.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you guys are welcome. But yeah, a lot of people refer to this suit when they see it kind of like Red Hood on steroids because, I mean, if Red Hood had a suit like this that dealt with all the metahumans, my gosh. But like I said, because Spider-Man is such an overpowered character as it is, I mean, this suit would make him pretty much invincible. And the only reason he ever had to use it is because, you know, he lost his spider sense, which was kind of cool. When the Avengers are hanging out with him and trying to help him face against all his rogues and stuff like that, they're pretty impressed with the suit that he made. But, of course, once he ends up fighting Dr. Octopus and a lot of other stuff, the suit ends up being destroyed. So, not much can really be said about that. Shadow, come here! You're interrupting my train of thought. So basically right now we're just kind of running around and showing off the suit and New York itself. And just having fun showing off different costumes. So with Spider Lore, what I want to do different than the Batman Arkham stuff is I just want to focus on what the costumes do, when the costumes were created, what purpose the costumes served, rather than just diving into Dan Slott's really dizzying story arcs, which literally play off every issue he writes. Like, every arc ends, but it still has some connection. You could even argue that Spider-Man Big Time, the entire thing leads all the way into the Death of Spider-Man and the Superior Spider-Man arc. I mean, Dan did a great job of, like, really orchestrating that. I kind of want to see what the suit looks like in the subway, so that's what we're doing right here. You just gotta imagine the conversations that fake Spider-Man is having with, of course, real Spidey. And no, I'm not doing any research stuff because I hate those quests. They're just stupid. You have to do them, though, in order to get certain type tokens and stuff like that. And here we are, web-slinging. I think that is... That's not Madison Square Garden, is it? No. trying to think where we are in New York. And I do plan on showing you guys where the Ghostbusters headquarters is, or that original fire station. Shadow, stop! So let's talk a little bit about what Doc Ock's last-ditch plan was, and why Spidey had to create this suit at the lab that he worked at. One interesting thing I want to note, though, about Spider-Man's boss in Horizon Labs, since Dan Slott, if you didn't know, is the writer for this game, the little nod where Otto in this game is talking to Peter about, oh, you make Spider-Man's tech and all that other stuff, and, you know, that's really cool that you do that. In the Spider-Man Big Time comic, like, or volume, whatever you want to call it, Peter's boss is kind of like Otto in that respect, and he is aware that he makes gadgets for Spider-Man, but I don't know when he finds out that Peter is Spider-Man. I mean, for a genius, he's not all that bright. There was one story while the Sonic suit, or the stealth suit, was being created, which is kind of hilarious. There's some type of raid on the Horizon Labs or something, and Peter, of course, you know, defended everybody as Spider-Man, but then he... I don't know what it was that put him in this situation, but when he was going back to his lab, he was getting out of his Spider-Man costume, and the police and everybody were there to see if Peter was okay, because everybody evacuated the building but Peter. So then Peter, he takes off all his clothes except for, you know, his undergarments, and he puts on these special headphones where he can't hear what's going on, and he starts writing like this crazy formula and playing loud music, so when the cops come in, it looks like he didn't hear the evacuation alarm, and he's just crazy. So, yeah, that was kind of a thing, you know, so, well, it's not their fault that they're loyal to Martin Lee, their Spidey. But yeah, that was kind of just a fun little story. But again, Dan Slott is using his vast Big Time and Superior and Anti-Venom and all these different arcs to write this game. So if you are a fan of Spider-Man, or happen to like Dan Slott's stuff, you're going to see a lot of nods to his work, because that's what Dan does. Whatever he writes, he tends to not necessarily plagiarize himself, but he really repeats his good points and characters that worked well in the comics, and I think it works well for this game, but I don't want them to continue that for the next Spider-Man game, because Dini, he kind of did that with Arkham Asylum. You could say that that game was kind of like a straight-up adult Batman animated series, and then with Arkham City, he did something drastically different by killing off the Joker and introducing Ra's al Ghul and all kinds of other stuff. So I want to see more twists and turns with the next Spider-Man game. This one, the plot is very safe and predictable, and I don't want to give away things, but it's got Dan's handiwork throughout it. The only thing that I could say about Dan in this game is he actually did some justice to the Mary Jane Spider-Man relationship, but it kind of felt more like Spider-Man with Claire, the police officer that knows, of course, Yuri, who is the captain that Spider-Man works with. So that was also a Dan Slott thing, but it's been in Spider-Man games for a while. But yeah, this suit, you have to think of it as like a go-to final desperate attempt to save the world. So basically what Otto did, Otto was dying, which is further explained in, of course, the death of Spider-Man, leading into the Superior Spider-Man, where Otto is taking over the body of Spider-Man, and he puts his mind, Peter Parker's mind, into Otto's dying body, which was kind of disturbing. A lot of people had a mixed bag about that. But anyway, Otto, I don't know why he does this, but he kind of creates like this greenhouse effect in New York City, and he's trying to wipe out all these people. So that's why Peter has to go and don this new suit. And after it's destroyed, he doesn't really feel like using it again. But of course, I believe it's Superior Spider-Man who rebuilds it and puts it on display as kind of like a trophy. Like, you know, Peter was brilliant, and he's gonna kind of honor the fallen Spider-Man with kind of like a trophy of different suits and stuff like that, kind of like what Batman does with the Robins. But you don't really see the End of the Earth suit all that much, and to my knowledge, Superior Spider-Man never really used it. He kind of had his own version of a Spider-Man suit that was darker, kind of like the 90s with red and black, and then he did the full-blown Alex Ross costume. And I'm kind of surprised that the Superior Spider-Man costume isn't in this game, to be honest. They made some pretty bold choices by bringing in the Secret Wars suit that nobody really likes. It's one of the most least liked suits in Spider-Man video games. It has a cool power, that EMP burst in this game, but, you know, eh. Oh yeah, this happens in games too. Like, when you're fighting a bunch of hoods, they tend to jump in their car and try to get away, which is a new mechanic for the Spider-Man games. It's really fun, because usually you would just have to, you know, go after a Grand Theft Auto thing, but here it's like Spider-Man has kind of disrupted the drug trade that he has to go and take these bad guys down. So that's really cool. It's not really reinventing the wheel, but adding to what the Spider-Man games did really well, and it works out great here. It really does. That is showroom quality. Yeah, totally. So it's also kind of fitting that this suit was used when Black Widow and Silver Sable were working with Spider-Man to fight against the Sinister Six and stop Doc Ock's plan, because Silver Sable is in this. To my knowledge, I don't know if this suit pops up in our Let's Play or not. It's going to be some time before you guys see what's going on. I just uploaded some Spider-Man episodes today, and noticed that we were in the train station. So, but yeah, anyway, that does it for another Spider Lore. Ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da, Spider Lore on this channel. Ba-da-da-da. Anyway, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully you guys had a lot of fun. Hopefully understanding what the MK3 armor, end of the world Spidey suit, is all about. And if you learned something, let me know. Until we meet again, God bless and happy gaming. Thanks so much for watching.